examination will last for 30 minutes, and this examination includes 4 sections, which means altogether 40 questions. Roughly, in each section, you will get 10 questions. So that's the general uh, idea of this listening test. You will be having 4 sections. That means you will be hearing 4 different audios, whereas you need to answer 40 questions. So hope you can understand now the timing difficulty, because it will be given within a 30-minute period of time where you need to have 40 questions. So you need to be very specific. You need to listen very carefully and jot down answer very quickly, because you don't have more than 1 minute to focus on one question. So under this 4 sections, first thing, there will be the real world listening situation. In the first section, usually they will be talking about a kind of a bus schedule, or it may be a train schedule, or it may be an aeroplane schedule, something like that. Kind of a real world listening situation where you need to quickly pick answers from the audio. For an example, they will be talking about the Sydney bus will be leaving at 7:30 a.m. So you need to quickly pick that time. It is 7:30 a.m. Nothing else, because you need to focus on the question also. You quickly pick what is required. I will be talking about those things in more detailed manner. And also keep in mind, Miami, after this first section, the second, third, and the fourth ones are gradually in higher standard. That's why the toughest area coming, because usually it will be a real world listening situations, and the difficulty level is gradually improving. For an example, the second listening, that the second section will be a conversation between two people. That's why we get a different accent, male and a female. But whereas the first one is a very calm and quiet, one person is talking, kind of a real world situation. So there will be a range of topics and tasks within this listening examination. For an example, you may need to listen for specific information. As I told you, kind of an example earlier, the Sydney bus or the Melbourne aeroplane will be leaving on the 7th of December, like that. They will be asking very specific information. What's the date of the aeroplane's departure, like that. So you need to focus only on a specific date, nothing else. Or it will be talking about certain places. It was scheduled to be landed in Sydney, but unfortunately now it is going to the Perth. Do not overtly pick that Sydney word. You listen carefully, because they are very bit tricky. Actually, it was scheduled to be landed on Sydney, but right now it will be landed in Perth. So you need to get the correct answer, because they will be talking about two information. So you need to listen carefully along with the audio, because sometimes it is tricky. They will be under this place. They will be talking about two places. So you need to pick the correct name of the place. And other thing, you need to understand the gist. Gist mean like the summary of certain thing. They may be talking about certain unnecessary details, but you need to pick the summary of it sometimes. They may be talking about the increasing of the temperature in the world, melting of the glaciers, like that, and the heat increasing in the desert areas. Through all these things, you can summarize it as a one word: the global warming, like that. That means the understanding the gist, because they will be talking about lot of unnecessary details: melting of the ice glaciers, the rising of the sea level, the Earth's temperature is going up, like that. They will be talking about several details, whereas actually what you need to get the idea is they are talking about global warming. And the other third one, most important one, is towards the latter part of this section, you need to understand the speaker's attitude or the opinion also. Because there will be certain question, what do you think the opinion or what do you think the attitude of the speaker towards the aeroplane schedule, something like that. So you need to understand to his audio very carefully and pick the opinion. Ayo, this is very hectic to decide which time the plane is going. So such a thing talk about that he is very tired of such a attitude. Or if he is talking about very politely and a very positive attitude, oh, that's great. I can find my aeroplane time very quickly. That was so easy. Then you need to understand that his attitude is a very positive one. Talking in a very positive tone. So those are the specific topics and tasks that you will be getting. Usually this listening test getting bit tougher also, because the first one kind of a very real world situation, but the second, third and the fourth sections are gradually going higher up in the standard level. In a nutshell or in a summary, this is the overview of the usually the listening test format in the IELTS examination. So, Mayme, as you can see, the first one is a conversation between two people. Set it in an everyday social context. Usually, it's a very simple and a very audible, and we can hear it very clearly also. A conversation between two people set in an everyday social context. Usually, it's a train schedule or bus schedule, or it may be an aeroplane schedule, something like that. But the section two sometimes usually it is a monologue. That means one person is talking about, set it in everyday social context. Example, sometimes a speech about local facilities, maybe about healthcare facilities, something like that, or the in an urban city the facilities available for people, a kind of a monologue. And the section three, usually a conversation between up to four people. That's how from the second, after the first one, the second and the third ones are a bit different, and even the difficulty level is bit higher, because there are four people included in the conversation, because these four people having different accents also. Usually set in an educational or a training context. Usually, sometimes a university tutor and a student discussing an assignment, something like that. So sometimes they are talking about a subject that maybe we are not actually heard of, maybe about the biomedical, nuclear science, something like that, kind of an assignment task. So that's why the difficult level is little higher. And the section 4 is the last one, a monologue on an academic subject, usually a university lecture. So sometimes, Miami, since you are taking the general test, this can be a little lower than an academic subject, but usually they have include kind of a something that is related to a kind of the academic things, because primary aim is to make you all are familiar in a foreign educational environment also. But if it is the academic listening test, it is overtly some kind of an lecture on an academic subject. But when it comes to the general, it will be little lower than that, usually a university lecture. So these are the four sections that you need to listen and answer within 30 minutes. We are going to the section 1. You will hear a conversation between two speakers in a social context. Actually, this is a two speakers mean. Usually, a passenger goes to a bus station or a train station and inquiring certain information. In a social context, such as a casual conversation between friends or a customer or a shop assistant. So usually those are the two characters that you will find. Usually it will be a casual conversation. Maybe they will be asking about the bus or a train schedule, or they may be asking about the price of a certain item, like that. Yes, the topics are usually everyday situations like booking a hotel room or making arrangements or sometimes getting certain information. So those are the usual everyday situations that they will be including in the section 1. So the last point is very important. Pay attention to details like names, dates, times, locations. Because in the section 1, most of the questions are based on these three or four parts. Usually they will be asking what's the name of the place that the Sydney bus arrived, or what's the date of the Perth aeroplane, or the time of the bus departure, or the time of the bus arrival. So when you see the question, Mayumi, that means name or a date or a time, you need to realize what the question is looking for. What is the name of the driver? Like that. Then you need to pay special attention to the first part of the conversation, whether they are talking about a name, David, or whatever it is. Or if the question asks for a date, pay special attention where they are talking about a date, and also the times also. Or it will be with locations. Where will be the bus go? Where the passenger want to go, like that. And also some other specific informations. Which bus is going to more faster, whether the second bus or the third bus, like that. Those are the typical questions that they will be asking. So you need to pay special attention to things like this during the section 1. Yes. So moving from that, we are coming to the section 2. Again, they will be giving some time, nearly 1 or 2 minutes, to go through your questions, Mayumi. So during those period, again, you need to thoroughly have a rough idea about the questions. What are they actually asking for? So in the section 2, you will listen to a single speaker giving information on a specific topic. Usually a single speaker. Sometimes there may be two speakers sometimes. But since the section 1 had two speakers, section 2 usually a single speaker. It could be a speech or a monologue. For an example, a tour guide describing a place, or a university professor giving a lecture. But for most of the time, for the general test, they will be providing this something like this: a tour guide describing a certain place. Or if it is the academic test, there will be a kind of a professor giving a lecture, or someone providing instructions on how to do something, kind of an instructions based on a certain thing. So again, what is important is you need to listen for key points, important details, and the speaker's main ideas, what he is talking about. If it is a tour guide describing a place, the name of the place, the distance to that place, and what is the importance of that place, like that. And his main ideas, what is throughout his speech, what is he talking about? Whether it is an amazing place, whether it is a less interesting place, like that. So hope you can understand, Mayumi, the difference between the level of questions. The section 1 actually dealing with the overtly available things, names, dates, times, locations, whereas in the section 2, you need to listen to key points, certain important details, and also to speakers' main ideas, which are not overtly there actually, Mayumi. Because you need to little bit think about it also when identifying the speaker's main ideas. But usually, again in the section 2, nothing to worry. There will be very short answer type questions they will be giving if you need to write answers. If not, again in the section 2, Mayumi, usually you need 1 or 2 word answers, not more than that. So it is again towards this section also, it is little bit okay that you can manage. Yes, so that's the section 2. Whereas now we are coming to the section 3, bit of a academic context, whether even it is a general test or whether it is an academic test, they are little bit making certain type of academic conversation. So in this section, you will hear a conversation between 2 or more speakers in an academic context. Not overtly the academic stuff, but something related to academic text, like a university discussion or a assignment or a tutorial. Yes, so you need to understand the topics are generally more complex than in the section 1, and they may relate to academic subjects or certain educational scenarios. Because Mayumi, usually they are doing this, whether it is a general person or whether it's an academic test taker, they are little bit encouraging them to start studies, do their certain studies in that foreign country. So that's why they are preparing any person suitable for a academic environment. Not overtly they are putting them into the studies, but they are just preparing them for them kind of an academic environment. So in this section, you need to listen for certain opinions. You need to listen carefully to certain arguments and connections between ideas. So hope you can identify compared to the section 1 and section 2. The section 3 is getting little bit complex because you need to identify the certain opinions. Maybe the opinion of the speaker, maybe he may be talking about certain uh, opinion of a certain person, or it may be a little argument. So you need to identify those things when answering the questions. So sometimes here in this section 2 or section 3, you may get table also. Usually a table to fill. They have filled certain parts, but you need to fill in the other parts of a certain table, like name of the book, the name of the writer, and what's the subject area of that book, like that. Little bit related to academic environment, but not overtly you need to understand what that book is about, but name of the book, author, and what is this book is about, something like that. That's why you need to identify certain arguments and also connections between ideas. So moving from the section 3, we are coming to the section 4. Usually, whether it's a general test or the academic listening test, usually they are talking about something related to academic lecture. But sometimes in a general test takers, it will be little lower than that, but something related to the academic environment. Yes. So in this section, you will hear an academic lecture often delivered by one speaker, often delivered by one single speaker. The content is more challenging and related to university level topics from various disciplines. Yes, usually certain stuffs are really related to university level topics. That mean not overtly deep related things. Like they may be talking about Shakespeare sometimes, like that. Sometimes about a kind of a Darwin's theory. They will be just mentioning certain things related to that. The speaker may use complex vocabulary and present detailed information. Focus on understanding the main ideas, supporting details, any examples the speaker uses. So again, in the fourth section, the questions will be little difficult, maybe, because sometimes the answer is not overtly there. You need to little bit thinking also to answer certain questions. So once you do one or two activities, you will realize. So sometimes certain people call this the academic side thing. That means the section 4 sometimes, like Taptic took. Yeah, you need to go very fastly along with the audio. Yeah, you don't have actual time to write the answer, but you pick the answer and just jot it down. That's why usually after the 30 minutes, they allow 10 minutes to transfer your jot down answers to the answer sheet very clearly. You have 10 minutes to that, because sometimes you don't have actually the time to write answers on the answer sheet at that time. You can use an extra sheet to jot down your answers and then leisurely transfer your answers to the answer sheet. So that's why it's the challenging task. There are 4 sections. Within 30 minutes, you need to answer. Usually, the third and the fourth sections, not that overtly difficult, but usually the subjects that they are talking about, which not things are not that we have heard earlier. That's the thing. Those are not actually overtly difficult, because when I will show you the answers. Actually, the answers will be very simple one word question, like red roses. They are growing vastly in certain areas. You may need to write the place, name of a place that they are growing, like that. With regard to even biology lecture, even you have very simple short answers like insects, ladybirds, worms, like that. Very one word short answers that they will be expecting. Only thing, the context is bit not usual to us, because they are little bit academic side, but for the general test takers they are bit lowering sometimes. But usually the fourth section is bit challenging, and also during the fourth section the audio is going bit fast, the accent and the other stuff you need to adjust. So once you do several practice sessions, you can catch up. So with regard to the actual listening test, the guidelines are: try to practice regularly. Engage in regular listening practice with a variety of materials such as podcasts, news broadcasts, and videos to improve your listening skills. So the other thing, whenever you are going to the listening test also, much better whenever you are traveling to the center also, use a headset and just listen to certain English videos like news broadcasts, certain videos. Just get the accent to your body. Hope you understand what I'm telling. Even on the day that you are going to the test, Mayumi, use a headset and with your phone, try to listen to certain English videos. Don't let the outside world distract you. Just go on hearing certain English videos, news broadcasts. Engage yourself in a kind of a listening environment. Don't distract with the outside forces. You just go on listening, because then once you go to the examination center, again listening to an video, listening to an audio is not something new, because you have been doing this in the morning also. So it will get certain natural. But certain people getting very distracted. They are traveling by bus. They are listen to the outside world and going, and suddenly in the test center you will listen to audio. You need some time to adjust. But if you do it since in the morning, go with your headset, it becomes very normal. So those are some general points. And also try to take some notes. Here notes means actually not writing words. While you hear the certain audio, just try to make notes while listening to key points, names, dates, and other important information. the price of the bus ticket to the Sydney will be $5. So you just put the dollar mark and write 5. Like that, you just have notes and the names, dates, other important information. That's how you actually save your time. Then you need not to think back what will be the correct answer. And also pay attention to the instructions. Listen carefully to the instruction before each section begins, as they provide essential information about the questions and the format. That means, Naomi, I will show you when we are doing the actual test. First, they are giving kind of a set of instruction. First, you will have question 1 to 6. Read the questions carefully before the audio is playing. So then you need not to read the question 7th, 8th, and the 9th and the 10th. You just need to focus on Mayumi, the first, second, third, fourth, and the 6th. Because that audio part will be focusing only on that. After that, they will be having a separate audio for the question 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and the 11th. Like that. That's how they are dividing their questions. Is that clear, Mayumi? You need to listen to the instructions certain carefully because the first part is only applying to the first 6 or the first 5 questions. So no need to focus on the 7th question, 8th question. You have time to focus on that when the other before the other section begins. And also keep track of the recording. Be aware of the progress of the recording and the question number you are on. Stay focused and don't lose track. So usually you try to go according to the questions. Be aware of the progress of the recording. That means do not hang on a one question. Even if you miss a certain thing, go along with the recording because the recording doesn't play on another time. It will be played only once. Otherwise, you will be losing several 2 or 3 questions if you hang on only one question. That's what stay focused means. And also try to predict answers. Try to anticipate the answers as you listen. When you read the question, you know what type of the answer they are expecting. For an example, what is the price of the bus ticket to Sydney? So you know now it will be a kind of a price, $5, $10, like that. So pay special attention if they are talking about such a price. It will be $5, it will be $6, like that. And also be ready for different accents. That's why usually the third and the fourth sections are again becoming a bit tough. They use different accents, which are sometimes not familiar to us. The listening materials may feature different English accents, so practice listening to a variety of accents beforehand. The Australians and other people, especially if you find a Scottish person, their accent is totally different. Like, I'm going to highs. They are not telling house even clearly. I'm going to highs, like that. So they use different accents, but those are not that much difficult. I mean, the everyday things that you will hear will be coming, but the way they pronounce and the speed will be bit different. Hi, I'm John. I'm from UK. These days I'm following the biological lecture, like that. There will be certain people who are using kind of a British accent also. But those are very clear audios, nothing to worry. So other thing, manage your time. Use the initial 30 seconds given before each section to preview the questions. Use this time to think about what you might hear and prepare yourself. So usually they will be giving 30 seconds to prepare. That means to go through the questions. Maybe the first 6 questions. After that, question 7 to 11. Like that, they will be giving instruction. So prepare for that range. Do not go beyond that. Yes, so this is the first part of your listening test. Listen to the audio and answer questions 1 to 10. So usually each part contains 10 questions. So listen to the instruction for each part of this section carefully. Answer all the questions. And after that, we will download the answer scripts and show you all. So while you are listening, write your answers on the question paper. Use a pencil. If it is a computer-based thing, that doesn't matter. You can use that. Do it. Yes. So first example has been actually done for you. Because in the first section, the usual questions would be something like this. They will be asking what destination. The answer would be kind of Harbour City, like that.
Test 1. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to Section 1. Section 1. You will hear a conversation between a clerk at the inquiries desk of a transport company and a man who is asking for travel information. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Good morning, Travel Link. How can I help you?
Good morning. I live in Bayswater and I'd like to get to Harbour City tomorrow before 11 a.m.
Well, to get to Bayswater...
No, I live in Bayswater. My destination is Harbour City.
Oh, sorry, right. So that's Bayswater to Harbour City. Are you planning to travel by bus or train?
The man wants to go to Harbour City, so Harbour City has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good morning, Travel Link. How can I help you?
Good morning. I live in Bayswater and I'd like to get to Harbour City tomorrow before 11 a.m.
Well, to get to Bayswater...
No, I live in Bayswater. My destination is Harbour City.
Oh, sorry. Right, so that's Bayswater to Harbour City. Are you planning to travel by bus or train?
I don't mind really. Whichever option is faster, I suppose.
Well, if you catch a railway express, that'll get you there in under an hour. Let's see. Yes, if you can make the 9:30 a.m. express, I'd recommend you do that.
Great. Which station does that leave from?
Helendale is the nearest train station to you.
Did you say Helensvale?
No, Helendale. That's Helendale.
What's the best way to get to the Helendale station then?
Well, hang on a minute while I look into that. Now, it seems to me that you have 2 options. Option 1 would be to take the 7:06 bus from the Bayswater Shopping Centre to Central Street. When you get there, you transfer to another bus which will take you to the station. Or the second option, if you don't mind walking a couple of kilometres, is to go directly to Central Street and get straight on the bus going to the train station.
OK, which bus is that?
The 792 will take you to the station.
I guess the walk will be good for me, so that might be the better option. What time do I catch the 792?
There are 2 buses that should get you to the station on time, one just before 9 o'clock and one just after. But look, at that time of the morning it might be better to take the earlier one, just in case there's a traffic jam or something. The 8:55 is probably safer than the 9:05.
Yeah, I don't want to miss the train, so I'll be sure to get on the 5 to 9 bus.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
By the way, how much will I have to pay in fares?
Well, you can get a ticket on the bus for $1.80 cash, and you'll need $10 each way for the train. Wait, do you have a travel link card?
No, but I can get one before tomorrow.
Okay, well that'll make it considerably cheaper then. The bus will cost $1.50 each way, and the train will be... The train to Harbour City will still cost $10 because you'll be travelling during peak hours in the morning, so no savings there, I'm afraid. However, if you could come back at an off-peak time...
What does that mean?
Well, if you could start your return journey before 5 p.m. or later than 7:30 in the evening...
Actually, I wasn't planning on coming back till at least 8 o'clock anyway.
Oh, in that case, you can make quite a saving if you use your travel link card. You did say you were planning to purchase one, didn't you?
Yes, I'll pick one up later today.
Good. That would mean your return train journey would only cost you $7.15 with your card.
Thank you.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Actually, there is. Do you know if I can use the travel link card on ferries?
If you're thinking of the Harbour City ferries that go back and forth between the North and South Bank, those are the commuter ferries, then yes. A one-way trip costs $4.50, but with your card you'd make a 20% saving and only pay $3.55.
So $3.55 for the commuter ferry. What about the tour boats?
You mean the tourist ferries that go upriver on sightseeing tours? No, they only take cash or credit card. They're not part of the Travel Link company.
Oh, I see. I don't suppose you know the cost of a tour?
In actual fact, I do, because I took a friend on the trip upriver just last week. We decided on the afternoon tour, and that was $35 each, but I understand that you can do the whole day for $65.
Thank you. You've been a great help.
My pleasure. Enjoy your day out.
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
If you were able to answer more than 7 or 8, that's perfectly all right in the first attempt, in the section 1.